Hi, people. This is DJ.
This is Ish.
And this is
Season
season 3
3
of Pero Let Me Tell You. Was he ever on the party machine with Nia Peoples
Well, Nia Peoples.
after the Arsenio Hall show?
Is the party machine still going?
Is Arsenio Hall still going?
Somewhere, I believe he is.
In some dimension, Arsenio Hall is still going. Arsenio Hall!
And now that you have blown out the eardrums of our listeners, welcome back.
Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back.
Actually, you know what?
Welcome back.
You know what?
Welcome back. Welcome back.
We should not be using other theme songs because we have our own now.
Yes. Did everybody
We
listen to
have
our awesome new theme song?
Yes, starting episode 94 with our very own theme song, actually by Michelangelo Lamleplex. He is not only has he done vocals for Paulina, Cheyenne, Enrique, people so famous they need no last names.
Did he tour with her on the Power World Tour?
He didn't tour with her, but he also wrote music song for Cheyenne.
Oh, wow.
So I mean he's worked with some big people and now us.
And now, pero let me tell you,
of
course, it's the natural progression that when you
Exactly.
work with Paulina and Cheyenne, then you work with Pero Let Me Tell You.
Then you work with us, and then after us, it's Celine Dion.
Of course.
That's just how it goes.
Where else do you go from here?
Exactly. And so
You know?
I'm going to say our name of our theme song. Our theme song has a name. He told me it's called Pero Let Me Freestyle,
I love it.
which is awesome. So
Yeah.
we have a theme song and it has a name.
¿Quién nos iba a decir a nosotros 94 episodes back?
Okay, we would have a
You
theme
know,
song.
that we would have our own theme song, you know, created by like a legit music producer.
I know.
Like, and here we were trying to come up, you know, with a little Casio keyboard, like, ¿te acuerdas the little pre-recorded little beats? Dun, 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 dun. Like, you know, can that be our, or the MIDI files?
The MIDI files.
The MIDI files. So
Why did the Casios always include the sample of Last Christmas?
what my Casio didn't include that.
Aw.
Included a samba.
Oh, the samba. I remember the samba. Yeah.
So welcome back, everybody. Season 3, episode 94. I can't believe it's season 3.
Crazy. It's crazy to me. We've been doing this now for, it'll be 3 years now that we've been doing this.
It's been 94 episodes. Technically, it's been like 97.
Yeah, but we don't count the halves because then it gets...
Right, and then there's the lost episodes,
there's the lost episode,
like
yeah.
the Christmas episode this year.
Yeah.
But anyway, again, before we start, thank you so much to everybody who has supported us and everybody
Yes.
who has listened to us and everybody who's given feedback and people that continue to listen to us and follow
New
us.
listeners.
And
I mean,
yes,
like-
thank you so much. We wouldn't have a season 3 if it wasn't for you guys listening out there. So, and I also want to apologize because it was me who's bombarded our Instagram feed in the last 4 days with Pero Let Me Tell You's back.
It's
But-
advertising. Don't
yeah,
apologize.
exactly.
Don't apologize.
So sorry, not sorry. Hashtag. You know, Demi Lovato's performing on the
Super Bowl?
Grammys and the Super Bowl.
That's right.
You know, so good year for Demi Lovato. So
and
everybody,
it's going to be a great year for us.
welcome back. And as Barbara would say, this is 2020.
It never gets old.
It never,
Never
gets,
gets
old.
old.
So we are ecstatic to be
Yes.
back with a new season.
We got some really cool stuff coming up, both on air and, you know, if you're in the Miami area. I mean, you're probably going to see us out and about a lot this year.
Yes, we have a lot of exciting stuff. Maybe we'll be going back to the West Coast
Yeah.
for another series of episodes.
Yes.
But you know, every time that when we went west, I kept thinking of Five-O. I'm like,
Oh,
remember Five-O goes
Five
west?
goes west. Oh, the big old hat. It was so cute.
But let me tell you, goes west again. So yeah, so it's great to be back. Hope everybody had a wonderful holiday. And
I would ask you how was your holiday, but we've spent the holiday
most of the holidays together. So
we genuinely like each other, people.
I didn't have a
Like,
Christmas tree. The mold
took over your life.
The
The mold
mold
took
is
over
still
your
taking my life in over 2020. But you know, we're not going to talk about mold. We're not going to talk about mold. So
We're not going to talk about the fungus among us.
let's talk about stuff we watched.
Okay.
Okay. I think I know where you're going to start with.
We need to start with Don't Fuck With Cats.
Yes.
I don't think anything was bigger at the end of last year and even still this, beginning of this year than Don't Fuck With Cats.
Listeners, did you Well, first of all, did you watch Don't Fuck with Cats?
Yes.
Second of all, if you did watch it, give us your feedback on what
And
you
if
thought.
you didn't, there will be spoilers probably that we're gonna say. So just
Yeah, but
know.
if you haven't watched it by now, it already peaked in the
No,
viral.
pero por eso digo, but spoiler warning, fair enough. I think
So let me ask you something about Don't Fuck with Cats. Because I saw it before you did, right?
yeah, like about a week or so. Yeah.
Right. When you saw it, did you think it was about cats?
Yes.
Because I did too. I knew that.
I knew there was a twist, but I didn't know what the twist was.
I didn't even know there was a twist.
Because I saw the trailer.
I saw that had gone viral because people on Instagram, like on my personal Instagram especially, kept posting like stuff about Don't Fuck with Cats, like the picture of like the cover of the documentary.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm gonna watch it because it's gone viral. Right. So I legit watched it thinking that this was a video to about cat abuse.
Okay.
What I did not know that it was a narcissist homage, pretty much to Sharon Stone.
Sharon Stone. It's a.
I mean, that's really what it's about, isn't it?
It is all about Sharon Stone. Quite frankly, at the end of the day, it's about Sharon Stone and Canada.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's it. That's all it's about.
No, it's funny because when I would talk to people,
nothing.
when I would talk to people about it, I'm like, who hadn't seen it,
right?
Like my father. That's not something that my father would usually watch. And I told my dad watched it and he loved every moment.
No, but I couldn't see your dad like picking up like from la nada.
I'm like, Baba, tú tienes que escuchar esto. Okay, this has to do with a guy posting videos torturing cats, and my dad's like, yo no quiero ver eso.
That's what everybody says.
And I'm like, but you gotta watch, because somehow Justin Trudeau becomes involved in this.
Lo que faltaba ahí fuera Celine Dion.
Yeah. If it would have gone a little bit further.
Oh, she would have been all up in it.
Yeah. Because what represents Canada more than Celine Dion?
Poutine.
No, I think Celine Dion.
Then poutine, really?
Yeah.
Degrassi?
No, Celine Dion.
Celine Dion. Okay.
Yeah, because Celine represents the English and the French.
It is true.
Yeah. So what was the part of the documentary that like shocked you the most?
Okay, because I knew there was a twist, but I didn't know what the twist was. So the part, like, I watched the cat portion of it, like through my hands. Like I was like, no, I'm not gonna watch it. The fact that he killed someone, videotaped it, and sent it just like as a giant like fuck you, find me now, bitches. Like, who the fuck does that? Who does that?
A narcissist.
Well, you know what? Luca Magnotti, that's who does it.
And I have a psychology background.
Yeah.
And narcissism has been one of these mental illnesses. It is a mental illness, but it's been one of these terms. Yeah, it's been one of these terms that has been linked to like, oh, you think you're cute, you think you're pretty, pretty much on a Vanity Smurf. Right?
Oh no, is that what he did to Azrael?
Tú eres presumido.
Right.
Oh, you think you're better than everybody else. You're a narcissist. But the problem with narcissism is that most of the worst dictators and worst people in history have been narcissists because they like the attention. They like the attention and they think that the world revolves around them.
Right.
And it's that self-glorification and that attention from people that they crave. Because like, for example, this guy, Luca Magnotta, he could have gone away with this murder without a problem, but he kind of gave himself in a way.
Up.
He gave them breadcrumbs.
But he gave enough.
Right. I mean, don't you think it's great that when they caught him, he was looking at pictures of himself?
That's so fucking... He was checking Interpol to see if they were covering the crime he had committed.
Yeah.
Who does that?
And the crime, because he like killed this guy, he dismembered his body, and there was video of him. There was video of him playing with the guy's head in the tub.
A mí me dio tanta cosa, like
listener discretion advised.
When the head of the police, like as she's, this is somebody who has seen her fair share of crimes. When she is talking about the video, she starts crying.
Okay,
she starts crying, and it's true because if you think about it, like by the time cops get to the crime scene, it's done.
Yeah.
Ya pasó lo que iba a pasar. But she is seeing this happening. And this guy had no remorse. Also, can we talk about his crazy fucking mother?
Oh, well, I mean, look, she's in denial that her son is a serial
No, Pablo. Denial is one thing.
And then there's this
And
type
then
of
there's
denial.
this woman. I mean,
Manny did it.
Manny. She started talking about Manny. I'll tell you what, when she started talking about Manny, I will tell you off when we were recording the first thing I thought of.
What I not that there's anything funny about this, but sometimes you gotta laugh at the perversion of it all.
You have
know?
to, yeah.
How when the
Si no te ríes, vas a llorar.
in Montreal, right? The lady, the head,
The head of police.
the head and investigator, the homicide. Why couldn't I think of the word? The homicide investigator. How she's like, we looked in the trash and we found a T-shirt. We found identification. We found some bed sheets. We found a comforter. We found a dead puppy. Like she like so nonchalantly, was like we found a puppy. Like if I find a dead puppy in the trash, I'll be like, oh my god, dead puppy.
Well, we know how I react when puppies are being abused.
Yeah. Well, yes. But she was, we found a dead puppy. But actually, so obviously the end was a shock for me. But what I thought was kind of fucked up but funny at the same time, because this is so, I mean, yes, he's a narcissist and he's crazy and he's a serial killer. But this is so like, it's such a manifestation of the world we live in, because of social media and Instagram, is when they found that all the pictures of him jet setting around the world were fake. That he had photoshopped his face.
And not even
onto all of them. But somehow people bought it, and he had all these fan sites.
But it's because we're so overindulged with content that we don't stop to really look at it.
Yeah.
Oh, he's in London. Oh, he's
so
whatever.
what I thought was great was, so for the people who have not seen Don't Fuck with Cats, I know we're giving some spoilers away, but it doesn't matter. It's still worth watching.
It doesn't matter.
Even if you know what the end is, because you're literally going to go on a roller coaster ride.
Oh, yeah.
First of all, the part where he sends her the video of her casino.
Oh my god, I got scared.
I would have taken a shit.
I got scared.
I would have freaking moved to the Arctic Circle. Like, I would have.
I was like, oh no, Luca Magnotta has found me. No, like, run.
Which is weird because they never explained how he did that. But basically, the whole premise of the documentary, and this went like viral in December. Yeah. But I feel things go viral now, and then 2 weeks later, it's done and over with. But it's still worth watching. So much so that we decided for our premiere episode of season 3 to talk about it.
You've mentioned narcissism.
Yeah.
And I actually wanted to bring this up. I had mentioned it to you the other day in passing, and then I was like, no, I want to bring it for the show. Have you seen Equinox's latest ad?
No, because I really don't care for Equinox. So they're one of these things that, like, when it's on, I'm like...
Okay, I don't either. I think it's caro por gusto.
Bueno, you go to the complete opposite of Equinox. You go to UFit.
I go to UFit. I pay $20 a month, and I can go to any location I want. Y total, son la misma máquina that they have at Equinox.
Right. And you have the fancier membership, because if you go to the one UFit, you pay 10.
10, exactly. Yeah, I expanded when I started working farther. When I worked aquí a 3 cuadras from my house, I had the $10 one. Of course. Shit. But no, in their new ad... Equinox is urging you to be more like Narcissus. Now, for those of you who don't know, Narcissus is the Greek mythology, essentially, the Greek myth of, the person, Narcissus, who fell in love with his own reflection, and so, he was cursed by the gods, and so forth, so on and so forth. Now, they're saying that it's a tongue-in-cheek thing, but it's basically that they're saying that his most selfless act of all was being, in shape for the world. I find this to be, I don't care how provocative or tongue-in-cheek or, clearly it's a joke and blah, blah, blah. They say it is. The fact of the matter is that in this day and age, when you've got people who are, we've got Instagram basically saying, oh, we're going to remove likes from people's pictures because it's becoming a problem. You've got your Luca Magnottas. You've got, your Aaron Hernandezes who think they can get away with these types of things. ¿En qué cabeza entra that you're going to create an entire spot extolling the values of being so involved with yourself to the extent of, everything else?
Well, I mean, that just wouldn't surprise me from a company that their basic gym membership is like what, $120.
Probably. And again, I'm not saying you shouldn't care about your appearance and how you look. I mean, you want to feel good about yourself. You want to go to the gym and you want to, look nice and what have you. But there's that. But to your point, narcissism is not that.
Well,
narcissism.
So here's my first answer to that. Today I could use my psych background, which
we're not doing law today.
We're not doing law today. I could use my lost degree, my psych degree.
So before you get into that, sorry, I want to read to you something that the creative directors of the ad agency that created it said in response to this. Narcissus is the wellspring of fabled self-obsession. So it felt like it would be fun to take this old myth and play with it. What if the Greeks had gotten this one wrong? With all we know now, maybe self-love isn't such a bad thing.
So I would answer in the following way. I wouldn't even go Greek.
Yeah, here's one of the print ads. Make yourself a gift to the world.
I wouldn't even go Greek on this. I would direct them to the DSM-5, which is...
And what is that?
In terms of psychiatry,
okay,
right, and mental disorders, it's a diagnostical and statistical manual of mental disorders. Like, this is pretty much the Bible when you study mental disorders and, psychiatry, that this is pretty much, again, with psychiatry and psychology, it's pretty much the Bible of mental disorders, the DSM. There's like the DSM-3, the DSM-5.
And this is what's constantly being like updated with.
Right. And narcissism is in there. So narcissism is a mental disorder. Right? So it's no joking matter.
I'm assuming it's probably associated with like sociopathy and things like that.
I think it falls under category B of mental disorders. It's been a long time. It's been a long time. But it is in the DSM. And again, the DSM for anything, both in psychology and psychiatry, it's kind of like the Bible of that, because that is where professionals look. Where mental disorders all types of mental disorders are labeled and explained, and you find research and all that. And narcissism is a mental disorder. So I would suggest to whoever came up with that campaign, again, it's like, well, we've said in so many episodes in seasons 1 and 3 and 1 and 2, people don't know. People don't know, and they make decisions and do things where they're uninformed. And so many times you and I joke around here, like especially for an ad campaign or a promotional campaign, that it's like, okay, how many people were in that room? Didn't anybody say, hey, are we really going to go down the road of narcissism? Because that's like a legit mental disorder.
Right.
Like,
and people are saying now more than ever that people are way too self-involved.
Right. And again, what I mentioned in our earlier discussion, we have known that there have been dictators and, horrible sadists and stuff that have been narcissists because they've portrayed textbook classic narcissistic behavior.
It's almost the crux of...
Right. So, I mean, look, I'm not surprised because these are the type of things that happen nowadays, and I'm certainly not surprised. I'm sorry. When I talk about Equinox, I just can't take it seriously. Have you ever been to an Equinox?
I don't think I have.
I have.
Okay.
I've been to the Equinox in the Four Seasons on Brickell.
Oh, so you just went the full-scale, full-tilt
bougie. I was like, okay, don't knock it till you try it.
Right.
Because if I am paying $120, actually it's between $120 and $150 a month.
It's not cheap at all.
No. Okay.
And again,
that's
same
like
equipment.
That's like car insurance. That's like your light bill, Like,
my God, no, my light bill is like $30.
That's like an entrance to the Magic Kingdom nowadays.
Yes. Okay. There we go.
Okay.
There we
I don't know about you, but I'd rather go to the Magic Kingdom.
Hell yeah. Then.
But anyway, I was like, well, maybe like this is like a super enhanced experience.
Right.
And,
there's something to the machine.
And like it comes with like a personal trainer and they have like...
What's the perk?
It includes like massages and, like a spa. Mira. It's very well kept. The one in Brickell overlooks Brickell Avenue, so it's very nice. It's the lighting is nicer. They give you complimentary rolled up little towels. The pretty little rolled up towels they put in a spa.
Okay, but for that much money, I expect origami.
Right. But you know what? They use the same life cycle brand that
As everybody else
uses.
Yeah.
The weights still weigh the same amount.
The 50-pound weight still weighs 50
They
pounds?
still weigh 50 pounds.
Okay.
You still have to get on the treadmill and run.
You still have to hunt for the weights?
Oh, and that's another thing. I've been to that one twice.
Okay.
Si tú me dices, bueno, they have a guarantee that when I'm looking for that 45-pound dumbbell, that shit better be there, and it better be in order where it is. No. They have them.
The same problem as everybody else.
Yes. Look, there are more people on the floor to like put them back and all that stuff.
Right.
But people still leave them on the floor. You still have to like go find the weight that you want. It's not like you're like, Garçon, bring me the 45-pound weight. Yeah, momento he's there with the weights. You know. No,
I like that Equinox only has like French people bringing you
right?
the weights, right?
And I'm like, ¿Qué comedia? That's like your classic Miami. ¿Qué comedia de mierda? ¿Qué
Except
comedia?
it's not just Miami.
No, I know it's around town, but in Miami, when we're always talking about the people that drive a BMW but live in inefficiency,
right. They also go to Equinox,
right, because that way when they take out their BMW key, the little Equinox little card can
their fob is not. Right. UFit.
Because why would you go to UFit?
Or heaven forbid Planet Fitness.
No. With those bright green lime colors. Like,
listen, for my $20 a month, I can take guests.
Because look, I'm the first one that will be more than happy to pay for an upgraded service or an upgraded.
But it has to have an upgrade.
But this, instead of fluorescent lighting at like that they have in most gyms, here they have earth tones and like better lighting, and I'm gonna have like pay like, and again it's not like a gym membership is $30, here it's $50.
Right. Yeah, it's not a minimal increase.
No, it's like 3-4 times as much. Yeah. So what? And
as anybody who follows me on Instagram knows, the lighting at Planet UFit is just fine for selfies.
Mira, the lighting at 24-hour fitness where I go is terrible. It's all fluorescent lighting, and it's like that strong industrial fluorescent lighting that I'm like, coño. It doesn't matter where I get. If I want to take a picture in here, I look washed out.
Caballero, are you looking for a one-of-a-kind barbershop and spa experience for men in South Florida? Oh, then you're going to love Mankind Grooming Services. More than just barbershop services, Mankind Grooming offers 5-star spa services, including a steam room in both of their South Florida locations. Not to mention the lounge area with a pool table and bar fully stocked with craft beer and fine wines. Mankind Grooming's Fort Lauderdale location has been open 15 years, and now they're also in the heart of Coral Gables. Caballero, I've been to the Coral Gables location, and no lie, it is probably the best cut and shave I've ever had. And the service, ni hablar. Right now, all first-time clients can get 25% off any services. That's right, 25% mi gente. So if you're looking for a unique grooming or spa experience for yourself or that man in your life, Valentine's Day is right around the corner, you definitely need to check out Mankind Grooming Services. Visit mankindformen.com today for more information and, tell them, pero let me tell you sent you.
Okay, how can we be recording our premiere episode? Okay, which is fake Friday, but Pero Friday, everyone.
That's right.
How's everybody enjoying their commute? Their commute back with us, the first time you have a new episode in the new year.
Right.
Without talking about the Arctic tundra that is Miami today.
Oh my God.
Be careful. What is that in the sky falling? It's an iguana.
It's an iguana. Está que chifla mono. We should go get churros and
La Palma singular.
La Palma singular.
Yeah, what's up with I love it. I love it. But it was 38 degrees today.
Okay, last night Jose fell asleep wearing socks, his khakis, a shirt, and a sweater, and he was still cold.
But had he come from one of the business meetings that Mora gave, or
because it was his brother's birthday, so we went over to his parents' house for dinner, and then we came back, and he was just like, "I'm going." We were hanging out watching TV. And he's like, "I'm going to bed," and he just was fully dressed.
There was no transition.
And I'm like, "Pero why don't you? No, it's too cold. It's too cold." Y con todo eso se cubrió todo. He looked like a parka.
No, because I gotta admit, we're very exaggerated, and as we always say, when it drops below 60,
It's a brick at the boots, yeah.
right? But it was really
No,
cold
it was
this
cold.
morning. Like it was legit
38.
cold.
Yeah. Yeah, it was like...
So I was like, "Oh my God, Michigan! My Michigan years!" I got to mention Michigan in our premiere season 3 episode. Advertising New York City. It reminds
not now,
you of
but
New York.
give me a moment. You know, it does remind me of, though, that's worse than El Sereno.
Well, yes. And if you're into Sereno, we are still selling our Sereno Life t-shirts.
As well as our Lechong Life.
Oh, actually, wait. That's something we need to thank everybody.
That's true.
Thank you, everybody who bought our Sereno t-shirts and our Lechong Life t-shirts.
Yeah,
and all of
they're
you
still available.
who shared it on Instagram.
Yeah.
That was,
let me tell you, shop.com.
that was a lot of fun. We have more t-shirt ideas to come. We're never going to be as big as Martha of Miami, but
And that's okay.
But that's okay because that's her thing.
And we love Martha.
And nobody does it like Martha.
Exactly. I feel like that should be her slogan.
Nobody does. Nobody does it como Mantica.
Como Mantica.
No, she doesn't go by Mantica. No, but that's her niche.
Yeah, that's her thing.
Is it niche or niche?
I guess it depends how French you are.
That's her niche, and she's she's the best at it. So, but anyway, so thank you everybody who bought t-shirts.
Yes. And if you haven't bought yours yet, you can still, we still have, so feel free.
We still have, and Valentine's Day is coming soon. And how do you show love more than by telling your love about eating pig?
Or warning them of the dangers of Sereno.
Of the killer mystical dew.
Killer mystical dew. I mean, if that's not love, I don't know what is, quite frankly.
Okay, so I want to talk about...
So we're going to shift gears a little bit.
Something I was hearing last week, and this is one of these topics that I love discussing on this podcast because, at the end of the day, it's what we're all about, the Hispanic, Latin experience and what makes us different and all that. And, for better or for worse. Right. So I was listening to a podcast of Katie Couric and,
which I started listening to, by the way, because of you.
Okay. Yeah. And, but this is the first you're hearing of it.
Well, no, but you had told me, you're like, oh my God, this Katie Couric podcast. And I'm like, I like Katie
Couric. I started listening to Katie Couric's podcast because of you.
Well, she had another one, and then that one went away. This is a new podcast that she's doing now with this one. It's a new podcast.
Okay, well, it still comes out in my same icon. Anyway, whatever. She had an episode where they talk about how kids are being radicalized now through the internet on to become alt left and to become part of these like white supremacist groups and so on and so forth. So I was very interested. I am a parent, and although my kid is 6 years old,
well, you never know.
I guess evil doesn't know an age. I guess
exactly. Look at The Omen. So
she started talking to this kid, and the kid was very well spoken. I gotta say, who at 13 years old, like I keep saying 13. I was like in 6th, 7th grade at 13.
Let's stop and think what we were doing at 13.
At 13, I was watching Saved by the Bell and Full House.
In that order.
No, Full House and Saved by the Bell. Full House was on TGIF. Saved by the Bell was Saturday mornings.
Beda.
Right. Remember what aged you? What would really age you when people would say like, "Oh, I watched Saved by the Bell when I would get home from school," and I'm like, "Bitch, I watched Saved by the Bell
on Saturday mornings.
Saturday mornings, first run on NBC."
Yes, ma'am.
That's why you're 20. That's why I'm 20 and you're 12. Anyway, whatever. So in the podcast, Katie interviewed this kid who had become this like super white supremacist, and she started asking him like what happened.
Right.
And he was talking about how there was an incident in school that he pulled some prank on some girls, and the prank went wrong, and they accused him. I believe, I don't think he said the exact term, but I think it was of some type of like sexual harassment or sexual abuse.
Harassment.
Something of that term, but sexual in nature.
Okay.
And even the girls said that it wasn't, but like the school completely handled it wrong, and one thing led to another. And the point is, they took him out of the school, and he was really unhappy and really, really bitter. And he kind of had the mindset of like, well, if I got accused of sexual harassment or sexual abuse in this case, and it was a lie, and I didn't do anything, so then that means that all these other cases where women are saying that they were raped or
the same
harassed
thing
or
happened.
abused.
Right.
Same thing happened. And that kind of fueled his anger.
Okay.
One thing leads to another. He goes on Reddit sites and he starts
Reddit is Twitter's evil cousin.
he starts coming across all these like forums and boards, comment boards of people that are like racist and alt-right and white supremacists.
Right.
So what's really interesting about his case is that he's Jewish, and a lot of these, a lot of this alt-right
conflict of interest. Much
one of their biggest agendas is to eradicate the Jews.
Israel. Yeah.
Pretty much Jews. What was it? Jews will not replace us. That's not what they chant with.
Oh,
their
that's
TVs.
right. Yeah.
Jews will not replace us. Which at first I thought they said you will not replace us. I'm like, who's the you they're talking about?
Lambs,
right? But no, Mariah fans. But they were saying Jews. Anyway, so whatever. And Katie was like, "Oh, but you're Jewish," and he's like, "I know, whatever." So he was talking about he became a moderator in one of these Reddit sites, so that gave him a certain amount of power.
He was legit.
Yes. So then he came from a very progressive and liberal household. And during dinner, he would have dinner with his parents. He was 13.
Right.
He would, he would start talking to his parents, and that's when like the debate would happen. And his parents are like, "What's going on with you?" So on and so forth. So the parents already started noticing.
So the parents were involved.
Yes,
it's not like
he came from a very stable home. The parents were, I think, upper middle class, or the parents were fine. They had like careers. They had like a good home, a good house.
They were involved in their child's life.
They were progressive. They were liberals. They were Jewish.
The whole nine.
Right, because a lot of times when you think of these like people that turn out left, you think of like this white trash that's growing up in like the trailer park.
Right, the parents are never home.
The parents are never home in the middle of drugs.
There's no guidance.
Whatever.
Right.
This did not seem to be the case. So during the dinner table, the parents started having like they noticed that like his views had become very like not only angry but had become radical. Like he was radicalized, and his parents didn't understand why. So Katie interviews the mom. So this is where I'm getting to. Okay. So Katie asks the mom, "Okay, you started noticing that he had become radicalized. Yeah, dinners became like a debate. So on and so forth. And he became radicalized from these like Reddit sites. Yeah, he did. Blah 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 blah. Okay." And how long was he spending on these Reddit sites or on the internet every night? Oh, he'd get home from school and then he'd go on the internet. Then we'd go to dinner. We'd have dinner and then he'd go back on the internet. So he was spending like 6, 7, 8 hours a night. Coño. And Katie was like, okay, and didn't you like want to stop it? She's like, yeah, the thing, Katie, is that we respect our son's privacy and we respect him, privacy. We respect his ability to be himself and come up with his own thoughts. And it's hard to say this with a straight face. And, we respect him, to have his own thoughts. And even if we disagree with his thoughts, I'm like, are these people from fucking Seattle? Like are these like progressive, like
hippies in a commune?
Yes, from Seattle. Yeah. Yeah. No offense to the people of Seattle. We love people from Seattle. We love Starbucks. Princess Cruises, all that stuff. Anyway. Amazon, we love Amazon.
That's right. That's right. Jeff Bezos,
come on the show.
Yes.
Anyway, because we respect his privacy and we respect the person that he is, even if we don't agree with it. So no, I didn't barge in his room because like it's his room and it's his privacy, and he would have the door locked. And I was like, that moment, the interview did not become about white supremacy.
It was about
Espérate un momentico.
Can we say this at this point? It became about white nonsense.
It became about white nonsense.
Okay.
I'm like, espérate un momentico, Tú sabes que el hijo tuyo se está convirtiendo en tremendo racista.
Right, porque todavía que tú me digas que tú no sabes.
Okay. Right. El chiquito se está metiendo como 8 horas en la computadora y tú lo sabes, okay? Tú lo sabes. Y tú estás ahí sentada. No, porque yo respeto la privacidad.
Privacy my ass. Privacy my ass.
Okay, let me tell you something. Privacy my ass. Till this day, my father does not open the door when he walks into any room in my house.
Doesn't knock.
He doesn't knock. Knocking in doors in my household growing up, that did not exist.
You might as well have had saloon doors.
You've been to my house.
Yes.
There's a lot of people in my parents' house.
That's
In the house and
Any
next
given
door.
day.
On any given day. Knocking on my door? Are you kidding me? If I ever locked the door of my room, I'd be like, Daddy. It'll be like my father would go, my mom or my dad would go, Sheldon. Daddy. Darien abre la puerta. Darien, ¿qué es esto de la puerta cerrada? And if my parents knew, they would first of all kick my ass y la computadora la tiraban en un canal.
And they would take the door off the hinges.
Yes. Hashtag growing up Hispanic. So that's the difference between this kid in this interview and the mom's like, no, he respects his privacy. So even though he was becoming a radical,
super racista,
super racist, that was going to have the swastika sign on him, even though he was Jewish, we respect the man that he was going to be because, he has to be himself. It's like, girl, have you gone to a Hispanic household? They would have el piñazo que hubieran metido a ese chiquito.
Es lo menos.
And I kept listening to it. I'm like, no puedo con esto. I became like super ghetto Cuban. I'm like, no puedo.
Gertrude lost all credibility.
Que privacy. Like, have you been to a Latin household? Like, my dad's like, tú tienes racismo, vete pa' Cuba. Vete pa' Cuba.
That's the answer for everything. That's the answer for everything. It doesn't matter.
A pasar trabajo en Cuba.
En Cuba. ¿Tú quieres pasar trabajo? Vete pa' Cuba. Racismo, vete pa' Cuba.
But it's incredible to me how that, among, I guess, non-Hispanic parents, that's something that is so...
What struck me as odd was that this was a Jewish household, because you do hear, usually Jewish mothers are very doting. Están metido en todo.
But these were like younger, progressive
but still,
people.
I mean, and especially, I would assume, a Jewish, again, being Jewish, you are, to an extent, you grow up being raised understanding what happened with the Holocaust and, how this can start and blah, 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 blah. So I would think that they would be a little more.
But I think these people were white first.
Oh, they were white before they were Jewish?
Yeah, I think they were white before they were Jewish. And you don't know. I mean, especially, I know a lot of Jewish people who are culturally Jewish, but they're not religiously Jewish.
But even if you're culturally Jewish, you know about
right. But they're white, and they. I mean, that's how they raise their kids. Yes, they are Jewish. I mean, I guess there's some people because
I would think that would be a sore spot. Like, even if you want to let them become the person they're going to be,
you're talking about like the typical like old school like Jewish grandmother that's
like Morty, come have the matzo ball.
Right. No, these people you could tell that they were not them. These
but
were.
I'm not even talking about that. What I'm saying is like again, I feel like the Jewish culture. Because
I mean, regardless, these were white people.
Okay,
regardless.
But you know what I'm saying? Me extraña because it's like.
A mí no me extraña. A mí no me extraña because again, these were young, I mean, I'm to me the Judaism part is a side issue in this specific case. It's that the kid was so radicalized that he himself being Jewish, he didn't care. Matter. Like it didn't matter. The point is that his parents are so like new wave white, that it's like
white.
That
sounds like a Crayola color.
That it's like no, we respect our son's privacy. Bueno, the kid ended up going to the alt-right
like
parade in DC.
Oh, wow.
Right? And when he went, it's the first time he saw these people in person that he's like, wait.
Oh.
What did I sign up for? These people are fucking crazy. And that's what made him snap out of it. But then you got to listen to the mom. Well, because Katie's like, how did you take him to that?
Right.
Again,
he's 13.
And thankfully,
in a way, thanks
to that,
right.
It worked out because he saw what loons they were, but I wouldn't have taken him to that if that's my kid. And Katie was like, okay, but how did you take him to that? She's like, no, it took a lot of convincing because the thing is that, even though I disagree with him, like I want my son to know that I support him no matter what. I'm
no,
like, what?
No,
like, let me tell you something.
You do not support racism.
Let me tell you something. If I walk into any of my relatives' house con el pullover de Che.
Exacto, hasta ahí llegaste.
There will be bombs heard around the world because they will not only will they kill me.
Iran se queda pequeño.
yes, because you don't accept that bullshit in a Latin household.
Right.
You don't respect your opinion. No.
You can have all the opinions you want in the street.
That's why, like, when I was listening to this, I'm like, hashtag growing up Hispanic. We don't knock on doors nor respect each other's privacy. Or opinions of adolescents. Like,
no. You can have all the opinions you want outside the house.
I mean, for God's sake, I live
don't
at
respect
war
them
with
now.
my family because I'm a Democrat. Can you imagine?
At 13?
Because I'm a Democrat. Can you imagine if I would have, like, I don't know, be an alt-right person or like a communist? Like
A communist.
yeah,
Let's go communist.
yeah, because at the end it's all about communists.
Right.
You know?
Right. That's insane
Yeah.
to me.
Yeah, so white nonsense. Yeah, when I heard that, I'm like, I got to bring this up on the podcast because this is,
That is the definition of white nonsense.
Yep. Actually, I'm glad we're talking about white nonsense and Jews and communism.
Okay.
So, to my dad, everybody is a communist, pretty much.
Oh, I hope I'm not.
Jane Fonda, una comunista. What's the other one? Barbara Streisand, una comunista. And I'm like, Dad, she's not a communist. She only played a communist in The Way We Were.
Oh, she was a communist in that?
The Way We Were, yeah, that's why they broke up.
I've never seen the movie.
You've never seen The Way We Were?
Okay, you know how I feel about Barbara Streisand.
Okay, well, let me tell you something about Barbara Streisand. I'm not a fan of Barbara Streisand. I don't know most of her songs.
Right.
Barbara Streisand, ni me da frío ni calor.
Right.
But The Way We Were, the movie is actually really good. It's with her and Robert Redford.
Yeah.
And that song is
Wait,
so
they break
nice.
up because she's a communist?
Well, they break up because the thing is that he's a veteran.
Oh, okay.
And he's very into like patriotism in his job, and I think he gets like a job in the Marines or in the Navy or Naval Academy or something. And she's like a downright communist, like marching,
Okay, got it.
Civil activist communist, and that, and obviously a lot of other things
Right.
and timing just don't work out for them. The Way We Were, Barbara Streisand and Robert Redford. It's actually a really nice movie.
Oh, wow.
So, my dad, no surprise here, is not a Bernie Sanders
Fan?
Nope,
No.
not at all.
He's not feeling the burn?
He is not feeling the burn. And every time que viejo eso sale por televisión, my dad's like, míralo ahí, el perro comunista ese. And I'm like, the guy has socialist ideas. Well, actually, no, Bernie Sanders does consider himself a socialist.
Right.
But as I
So
tell
you can
them,
see how your father would make the connection.
but as I tell them, I'm like, listen, Medicare is a socialist program.
True.
Social Security is, it's called Social
Right.
Security. It's a socialist
Program.
Right. Those are all socialist ideals or program.
Right.
And that's different from the socialism you guys are talking that you initially felt in Cuba. But I'm getting off topic here. Back to Bernie. So actually, I did a little bit of research. Y el viejo este es un perro comunista.
So wait, are you saying your father was right?
My father was right. And I am going to quote him. So in 1980...
I was saying, you're going to quote your father or you're going to quote Bernie Sanders?
In 1985,
Okay.
on Newsweek, Bernie Sanders...
And in 1985, he was, what, 84?
He was already a senator. He said that where did he he explained that the Castro regime was successful because they had revolutionized society and they had because he started this was in 1985.
Okay.
He started criticizing Ronald Reagan and the Reagan administration
Okay.
for wanting to remove, and the previous administrations for wanting to remove Fidel Castro.
Okay.
And Bernie Sanders responded in a way, he responded by saying that, what this country, Ronald Reagan, failed to realize is that Cubans don't want Fidel Castro removed because Castro to them is a hero, championed their society, and gave them free healthcare and education.
Wow. He was a god.
And I was like,
I mean, Equinox should put him in the next ad.
I was like, Bernie, you committed the biggest sin there is.
No te atrevas ni to campaign here. Don't
come
even
here.
bother. Don't
You're
bother.
persona non grata.
Don't cross the Broward line.
Even in Broward,
Don't cross the West Palm Beach line.
I would stay clear of the Tri-County area just to make sure. And I wouldn't go to Orlando or Tampa either.
Yeah, exacto.
So Orange County and Hillsborough County, pa fuera también.
Right. Just stay out of Florida, I guess. At this point.
So I was like, oh shit, he did say that. He did say that. Él ahora está jodiendo en that campaign. I'm sorry, I don't feel the burn. Not even because
I never cared for him.
I never. He now he's attacking Elizabeth Warren. He attacked.
Is he attacking her?
Yes.
Because I heard there was a little there was a tiff where
in the tiff in the last debate. They caught them open mic when the debate ended.
Is that what it was?
She went straight up to him, and in the debate,
I she said that you called me a liar or something
in the
like
debate,
that.
when the debate ended, okay, and this is the debate, and everybody ended.
It was still a hot
and
mic.
They shook hands. The day it aired, you didn't hear it. You saw that Elizabeth Warren went up to him, and he extended her hand, and she didn't shake his hand, and she was saying something to him, but you didn't hear it.
Right.
The next day or shortly thereafter. It was a hot mic situation, and she's like, "Did you call me a liar on national television?" And he's like, "Oh, let's not do this now." She's like, "You called me a liar on national television." He's like, "You know what? I'm not gonna talk about this now. We'll talk about it later." And they.
Oh wow! So what was it about?
I'm not sure exactly what statement it was because I didn't watch the debate.
Oh,
at that part.
okay.
But yeah. So, a lot of political hotheads say that he cost Hillary Clinton the election.
I believe it.
Because I don't know if you remember, he went after Hillary Clinton big time.
Yeah. And a lot of the votes went towards him. That would have probably gone to
And a lot of his Bernie people did not.
His Bernie bros?
His Bernie bros did not vote for her. So, there could have been a different outcome.
I don't know. There's just something about him que no me acaba de... Plus, he's in his early 200s.
I don't know. I've never cared for him, so he's never been on the presidential radar for me.
Right.
I've never taken him seriously. I think it's great for Larry David.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. If you ever get sick, he can just have Bernie show up. No one will know.
But I've never taken him seriously. I think he's one of these people that, I don't know. It's funny because on The View...
Oh, it is our season premiere.
On The View, Whoopi Goldberg does not like him.
Oh, no.
Whoopi Goldberg was like, yeah, I lived in Vermont. College wasn't free. So I don't know what he's talking about.
But they've got Ben and Jerry's.
Bueno, enough about communist Bernie. El comunista. El viejo comunista.
We just started the year. I'm sure we'll talk about communism a lot in this election.
Oh my God, there's so much to talk about communism. Why does it always end in communism? It doesn't matter cuánta vuelta nosotros damos. It's always going to end up in communism.
It is.
Anyway, bueno, it's kind of hard to have this podcast. And
I'm surprised it took this long for us to get here.
Not talk about the elephant in the room, the impeachment hearings. So what do we think about that?
So I'm not gonna lie, I haven't been following it.
Okay.
Only because I know that they stream it live.
Okay.
And I'm at work, and it's I can't.
But when you get home, you don't get a recap or whatever.
I kind of look through it, but I think at this point I'm just more disappointed than anything with just the fact that we're having this whole thing, because I think it's, regardless of what side of the fence you fall on, it's embarrassing.
Okay.
As a country, to have this, have to be going through this, right? I mean, I think we can all agree on that. But I also have an issue, and I think last year we talked about this. I know why it's being televised. Intelligently, I understand why. I get why. I can appreciate why. But I don't think it should be.
Really? You don't think it should be televised?
I don't think it should be televised, only because I feel like what that is doing is it is giving these politicians a bizarre little platform. It's almost like they're all auditioning for their own reality show.
Okay, I see that.
You know what I mean? It's not about getting up there and being like, this is what we found and this is the evidence and they're going to try to prove, blah, blah. It's about nobody
knew who Devin Nunes was prior to this, and now they do.
Right.
For example.
Right. For example, it's everybody just being like, well, it's like, no. You grew up with this fucking Senate. If I wanted that type of a freak show, I'd watch Andy Cohen, and I don't watch Andy Cohen because I hate Andy Cohen. Sorry, Steph. I'm not a fan. So that's why I try to limit what my exposure is to it and just kind of do the recaps, the back end of it.
So we
really just started this week.
So you
right?
but you feel then that the whole process in terms of it not being televised, you feel that it
would be more straightforward.
It's kind of like everybody's looking for their moment in the spotlight rather than authentically wanting to investigate, the issue at hand.
Everybody wants to be the headline on the umpteen online sites or on, Anderson Cooper 360 or.
Well, that's just politics nowadays.
But,
Do you remember during the Kavanaugh hearings, like Lindsey Graham's like breakdown speech? If you came to this town, wanting honesty, you are in a big, whatever surprise because you ain't gonna get it here. Okay, then you're part of the problem, Lindsey.
Yeah, exactly. Like if you're not part of the
you're
solution,
part of the establishment.
You're not part of the solution. You're part of the problem.
Interesting.
So that's my take on it. I mean, I think, and the worst part about it, and I know you're way more, a politic-y person than me, but the worst part about it is that we've gone through all this sound and fury signifying nothing.
Well, actually, you know what? A lot of times you really have to listen to people who are not as involved in politics. People who are not involved in politics, that's the real America. I mean, most people are not. I mean, I'm a political junkie. I always have been since I've been a kid. But I realize that most people are not. And that's actually the angle that I feel that is most important, no matter what side of the aisle you're on, because that represents the average person in the U.S.
Joe the plumber,
who later, what was the whole thing with Joe the plumber? Like,
I don't remember now.
He was used, I think, for one campaign, but then he turned. He
voted for somebody else.
Yeah.
In our case, it's Jose el Mecánico.
So I think I have so many opinions about the impeachment hearing that it's like I don't even know where to start. Otherwise. I think it's a shit show on both sides.
Right.
I mean, I made no secret here. I'm a Democrat. I'm a liberal. I've been a registered Democrat since I registered to vote many years ago. I always have fallen on the more liberal side of the spectrum. And with that said, and again, that's something
you don't
I've talked
vote
to here.
Party ticket.
I voted for Republicans before.
Right.
I voted for Republicans before.
And
look, I liked Obama, and I voted for Obama 2 years ago for 2 terms. But I called his shit out when I didn't like when he did something I didn't like. Right. So because that's how politics should be, right? And I just think that this is such a political drama rather than an impeachment of a president. That's why it's been done only a handful of times. I think this is the 3rd impeachment. In
our lifetime,
Andrew Jackson, Bill Clinton, and
Nixon.
Nixon was never impeached.
He resigned. He resigned before it even went to.
He resigned.
Oh,
before
okay.
He was never impeached. Yeah, everybody thinks he was impeached.
Okay.
He would have been.
Okay.
He would have been, but he resigned. But anyway, the problem is a lot of people are not watching. I'm actually not watching. You know why I'm not watching?
Oh, okay.
I'm not watching because they're not going to remove him from office. The Senate is controlled by the Republicans.
Right.
They're not going to remove him from office.
I mean, these are people who he has insulted in public and still turn around and kiss his ass.
So
what do you think is going to happen?
There's no chance of this being legit.
Right.
And they have said it themselves, months, back in early December, before all the evidence was gathered. Lindsey Graham said that he was not going to remove him from office. Mitch McConnell this week passed a whole slew of regulations where they decided that they're only going to allow the evidence that they want in. Which, I mean, can you imagine that in a real trial?
I was gonna say that's not how court works.
Right, but the impeachment hearings don't follow the same
I get
rules of civil procedure.
I get it, but I'm saying,
can you imagine in a regular trial that I'm the attorney?
You're a rapist, and you're like, no, I don't want the testimony in because that's gonna make me look bad.
It's a shit show. It's a sham. I also kind of, from the Democrat side, because I've thought about this for a really long time. Nancy Pelosi did not want to impeach the president. She didn't. And
I'm so surprised that she did, quite frankly.
You know why she did? Because she probably was feeling enough pressure from her own party to impeach the president. And I believe he is guilty for what he is being charged with.
That's almost beside the point.
I do believe. And I think that she probably ended up doing it because she was getting a lot of heat for not moving fast enough on this particular issue, the issue with the Ukraine and withholding the money. And again, and I said this in one of our episodes last year, what he is being charged for is an attempt crime. Right? He allegedly asked the Ukraine for dirt on Biden for a quid pro quo. You give me dirt on Biden and I'll give you your money.
Right. I mean, it's essentially black. It's the average person equivalent of blackmail. You don't get charged with blackmail because you took the money.
So yeah, it's an attempt crime. And where I wanted to go with this is that, the Constitution says that impeachment should be for high crimes and misdemeanors.
Right.
What does that really mean? High crimes and misdemeanors.
That sounds like a novel.
And it was vaguely worded because it's something that shouldn't just be tossed around any time a president is doing something. Yeah. I don't like this guy. He's doing stuff I don't agree. He cheated on his wife, or maybe he's passing legislation that I don't like, and is that improper conduct? Is it not? So that's one of the reasons why impeachment is something that's so sacred. It shouldn't be tossed around because, if you really come and think about it, you're removing somebody who was voted by the electorate,
Right. The people. The people.
Indirectly, technically, but yes. So if we are going to remove someone, there better be a damn good reason. And the problem, and this is where I go back to my people and to the Democrats, is that the moment he got elected or he got in office, this is impeachable and that's impeachable and this is impeachable. You can't throw that term around because you know what happens? Everybody cried wolf. And now that he did something that arguably is impeachable and they have enough evidence to show that, nobody really cares. Nobody really cares. The public doesn't care because it's just something that
it's
the
one
Mueller
more
report,
headline.
The Mueller report. Oh my God! When the Mueller report comes out, it's gonna show that he murdered half of whatever and that didn't happen. Right. So what does that mean? So there's been such a cry wolf for such a long time that now we are in an actual impeachment. There's a hearing. There's like this trial going on of the president of the United States, and most of the public is like blah meh.
Well, but it's a little bit of an extension of something that I think you and I have talked about before, where it's like, if everything is offensive, if everything is this, and everything is sexist, and everything is racist, and everything is this, when things truly shit really does hit the fan, people are so tired, to your point, of hearing wolf that they kind of go like, fine.
Right.
And that's dangerous.
So
that is very dangerous.
I implore everybody to watch Frontline on PBS.
Okay.
So
that's their
so Frontline
news,
is a documentary. It's like a documentary magazine show on PBS that has been going on for decades, and they've won all types of Emmys and awards because they're very legit. And in terms of they run the gamut in terms of subjects, but politically specifically, they're pretty unbiased. Okay. Right. So they have this documentary that premiered 2 weeks ago. It's called The Great Divide. Okay. Obama and Trump. And it starts at the end. The documentary it's 2 parts, and each part is 2 hours. So it's 4 hours long.
It's an investment.
But I implore people to watch it because it starts with the inauguration of Obama and ends now with election season. And what I liked about it was that it did Obama no favors. Like, they were very
critical when they had to be.
They were very critical when they had to be. They're like, look, he passed the Affordable Health Care Act without any Republican support. So that's when Republicans really turned on him. Right. He did all these things that he signed executive orders left and right because the Republicans weren't working with him. Now, you can make the argument in defense of Obama that, yes, he passed all these executive orders and he passed the Affordable Health Care Act without any Republican support. You can make the argument that he did that because Mitch McConnell, when Obama became president, said our goal is to make him a one-term president. Yeah. And there is video of Mitch McConnell saying this. This is not hearsay. Hearsay. This is not like, oh no, that's not really what he said. No, that is what he said, and there is video of him saying that. And it kind of goes through like the whole Obama presidency, how Republicans became so upset at this. And then, a lot of middle America was like, he's passing the Affordable Health Care Act and all these things, and this is not the way it should be. So it pissed off a lot of people, right? Even though Obama's very liked, and I liked him, and I think he did great things, there are a lot of things that you could pinpoint in his presidency and say, maybe he should have handled it a different way, right? But then now we come into the Trump years. And what's really good about this documentary and why I implore people to watch it is because they interviewed everybody and their mother. Steve Bannon, Kellyanne Conway, the Mooch, the one who was played by Melissa McCartney, ¿cómo se llama?
Spicer.
Sean Spicer. They interview.
Okay, so they ran the gamut.
Megyn Kelly from Obama's team. They interview Valerie Jarrett. They interviewed other Obama advisors. So they interviewed a bunch of people for this documentary. Okay. And Steve Bannon, coming from the mouth of Steve Bannon,
right.
tells you, who was the CEO of the Trump campaign, he said that his goal was to run on division in America, that he was going to exploit the division in America, and really use that, punch how divided we are to make Trump win. So that's one of the reasons why, like with Megyn Kelly, they interviewed Megyn Kelly, and Megyn Kelly was like, "Look, I asked him. This was the whole Megyn Kelly and Trump thing was based on one question, which she was like, he answered. I think he did a fine job answering. Right. And then the next day, Breitbart, which was run by Steve Bannon, it was doing one story after another on Megyn Kelly, right, attacking her. And that did this whole media thing.
Right, that's what generated.
And he was like, we were going to hammer her. Right. And then obviously there comes Twitter and social media. Everybody in Twitter was like, oh, she's a bitch. And, she's a woman. And, put that woman where she deserves, making all these terrible comments about Megyn Kelly. And he's like, yeah, I kept pushing that hammer. And when Fox News got involved, Roger Ailes called Steve Bannon and said, hey, you need to cut this out because she's getting death threats and stuff. Right. He was like, that's not my problem. She needs to get over it. So that's like this is like,
that's where we're at right now.
The ideology that this man who was running the Trump campaign was doing. And it's really interesting because he said, which I had noticed this, but I didn't know that the logistics behind it. He's like, if you notice, all of Trump's speeches and all his rallies, including his inaugural speech, is about dividing America. It's us versus them.
Oh, well, yeah. If you're either with us or against us.
Right.
Yeah.
The only speech of his, which he was like, this is now time for everybody to come together and America to unite, there's one America, was the speech that he gave the night he won the election. And that speech was not written by Steve Bannon. Because apparently, within the craziness
and the
of
late
the election night,
he
didn't get to write that speech. And it's true. When you watch that speech, Trump is a puppy. He's like, now it's time for America to come united. And so I implore people to watch it because I think it will, it really impartially gives a reality of where we are. And as I've said this...
To a degree, we're here because it's been manufactured.
I've said this a lot on the show. This is not anymore about policy. We could agree and disagree on policy all day long. Right. That's fine. That's even healthy.
That's absolutely healthy.
The problem here now, it's that politics has always been a dirty game, but now...
It's your identity.
It's becoming... toxic, and it's separating people, and people are starting to hate other people.
That's what I'm saying. It's almost become like your personality.
Right.
Where before it was just like, I voted for this guy. The other guy sucks. The other guy's an asshole, whatever. But you kind of like left it at that, whatever. But now it's like, oh, you're a Trump voter? That means that you're this. Right. Oh, well, that means that you hate our country. And it's like, when did, it's these extremes. Los extremos son malos, caballero.
It's happened on both sides.
Yeah.
I'm as liberal as they come. And I feel that sometimes even liberals, like if you're not like completely left-wing, like completely
hugging a tree
out there,
and drinking kombucha,
it's like, I don't agree with the Green New Deal of AOC passed. I think it's unrealistic. I mean, I'm sure that there's liberals who will probably call me, a right-wing extremist, because I don't think the Green New Deal, I mean, I'm totally for passing legislation to help climate change, and we need to do something about it, but I don't think her plan is feasible, right? There's no
compromise.
There's no compromise. There's no room for discussion, and that's a very, very dangerous place to be in. So again, I implore people to watch that, and the impeachment. Who's also having a bad week? Well, a good or bad week?
Depends on perspective sometimes.
So, ¿qué me dices tú de Meghan y Harry?
it's funny because I was telling you this a little earlier.
And you know I have
where
a
it's
soft
like,
spot for Meghan Markle.
I know you have a soft spot for them, and you know, I don't have anything against them. I just think it doesn't affect the impeachment affects my life, you know, to a degree. I don't even pay the taxes that support these people. I don't even live in Canada, which is, you know, a British territory.
Commonwealth.
I just think it's hilarious where if you boil it down, you know, married father of newborn wants to move out of his grandmother's house and it becomes a big deal. I mean,
Okay.
like
don't break it down like that, Mr. Pop Culture, because
but I'm saying,
you know, because
I'm saying, but it's like, but it becomes this like huge deal where it's just like, but what I mean by that is that I don't understand even from a royal perspective. It's like he just wants to go off and live in another place. Like,
okay,
let
don't
him.
downplay pop culture, sir, because you in 2007 had a part-time job defending Britney Spears.
Let me tell you something. That was a rough year for
That
both
was
of
a
us.
rough year. And
For me and her.
You didn't claim that on your income taxes.
I did not. No, but,
know,
hello.
and-
But see, I had to give up. I told you because I'm like, it's becoming a full-time job.
And you know, Britney Spears didn't affect your everyday life, or did she?
She did. A little more than Harry and Meghan did. I will say that. I will say Britney, you know, what it is right now. But again, it's not like that. I'm not trying to be Morrissey about it, you know, and be like, you know, good, one less royal. But let them go live in Canada. Whatever. Let them live wherever the hell they want to live. I mean, I've never understood, and on some weird level, I'm fascinated with it, like with the crown and all of that, to see those inner workings, because they're a family, but in some weird way, they act as complete, like there's a formality.
It's duty. It's duty on top of
that
everything else.
I can't understand. No,
Well-
no. I can't wrap my head around it, and I don't know. I don't know if it's just because, you know, we didn't grow up in that culture, or also maybe it's because actually as Hispanics, especially coming from Cuba, where, you know, you had people torn apart by, like, if you're communist, like that was all it was duty. You know what I mean? And I can't understand how somebody can put duty. I keep saying duty, it's like poop. You know, regardless of whether it's with the royal family or with government or with politics or whatever, you know, above your family. I can't.
think it's fascinating.
It is fascinating.
I've loved the history of the monarchy, and especially of England. Well, you've seen my library. I have books and books about the British monarchy. I've always been slightly fascinated by it.
It's your thing.
I think that as Americans, now we're talking as Americans.
Correct.
As Americans, you know, remember, we come from England. Like,
Well, it's true.
That really is kind of the motherland, and it's certainly the motherland in part of our culture, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, we are going to kind of always be interested in, you know,
And what
what's
those
going
distant
on.
relatives are doing.
What the Brits are up to,
Right,
you know, although we're
right.
traitors.
Right, we are. We
The
committed
4th of July is Happy Traitor Day.
Happy Treason Day.
Happy Treason Day. Yeah. So I think that's probably why the Americans have always had some type of an interest in the monarchy, and then obviously Princess Diana,
Right.
blew that to like another proportion. That,
And now
you know,
Meghan, being American.
right? And then obviously now with Meghan,
Right.
we have a
They have a
vested
Grace
interest
Kelly
in her.
situation, yeah.
You know, I wanted to bring this up because, you know, a lot of people are like, oh, I mean, look, this is not like world-shattering news that, like,
right.
you know,
Like
we're
an
being-
impeachment,
an
or
like,
Iran or
you know, war or anything
Right,
like that.
right.
But I wanted to bring this up because, you know, a lot of people are like, oh, you know, which I hate when people say this. Oh, you know, they're rich and they're famous. What do they have to, you know, be upset about? But you know what?
Because you have no problems.
You have to remember
right.
that when you are in the spotlight every day, you know, around the world, it gets to you for a while. And Meghan Markle, I don't know. Look, I have been following, and I've said this in the podcast forever. I've been following Meghan Markle for close to 10 years now because she was on my favorite show, Suits, Rachel Zane, and she had a very big part on that show. And prior to her being with Harry, she was like a really classy girl. She had a lifestyle blog called The Tig. You know, she was a foodie. You know, she was very into like food culture and all that stuff.
She was a culture girl.
She seemed like a very nice girl. She was involved in a lot of this was way before Harry.
Exactly.
And a lot of humanitarian efforts, especially towards women. You know,
wait, didn't she as a child write a letter?
she wrote a letter to, I believe, a dish soap company. I don't know.
Dish or detergent.
It
but
was either Palmolive or Dawn or one of those.
about
because the commercial said, "Oh, women love the new Palmolive.
Right.
And she said no, that it shouldn't be women. And they changed the commercial.
Yeah.
But anyway, I wanted to compare, and people could go look this up themselves. The press that Kate
I saw that the other day.
versus Megan. Okay, so this is some of it.
I saw, yeah.
So these are comparisons of similar situations between Kate and Megan. So when Kate was pregnant, like most pregnant women do, they start rubbing their belly.
Holding their stomach, right?
This was a headline. Not long to go, pregnant Kate tenderly cradles her baby bump while wrapping up her royal duties ahead of maternity leave.
Okay, very, very docile, very,
This is Meghan's.
Okay.
And Meghan
It's doing
rubbing
the same
her belly.
thing, right?
Why can Meghan Markle keep her hands off her bump? Experts tackle the question that has got the nation talking. Is it pride, vanity, or acting as a new bonding technique? Right?
Wow.
So on avocados. And these are major British publications.
And we here are experts about aguacates.
Aguacate. These are like major British publications.
Like
These are not
it's not
like
the tabloids.
It's not like a Clarín. Well, we love a Clarín. We would never.
Right.
But you know what I mean? It's like these are established.
It's like saying the Times.
Yes.
Okay.
So on aguacate, mira que esto. Kate's morning sickness cure. Prince William gifted the pregnant Duchess, an avocados. So obviously avocados made her feel better.
Okay. I didn't know they could.
Meghan Markle's beloved avocado linked to human rights abuse drought and millennial shade.
Oh my God. Wait a minute. El aguacate is a human rights abuser?
Because apparently the harvesting of the...
okay.
This is my favorite one.
Better than that?
Yes. So, wait, hold on. I gotta find it. Hold on. No, this was not. El aguacate.
Oh.
And this was from the Daily Mail, which is like a major, again.
Yeah.
Okay.
Publication.
So when William and Kate got married,
Right.
headline: Why can you always say it with flowers? A floral code popular in Victorian times is making a comeback thanks to our royal newlywoods. It was about a specific flower that Kate was holding.
And how it became popular again.
Right, that specific flower.
Okay,
So they were saying, you can always say it with flowers of how beautiful that type of flower was. Meghan used the same flower at her wedding.
The same flower.
And she used it in her bouquet and on the little crowns for the little girls. Royal wedding. How Meghan Markle's flowers may have put Princess Charlotte's life at risk.
Oh, God.
And then another one. I could go on and on. When prior to them getting married, they got married at the Abbey.
Right.
So, it's an old church. So, headline. The Duchess of Cambridge requested her favorite scented candles and toiletries from a luxury brand, Jo Malone, to be delivered to be the official scent at the Abbey for their wedding. Okay? That was the headline.
That's for Kate.
For Meghan. Kicking up a stink. Dictatorial bride Meghan wanted air fresheners for musty 15th century St. George Chapel, but the palace said no. So when you see this type of stuff, we're here laughing about it, but when you are the one who's caught in the middle of this,
right.
It's terrible. There was also a publication that posted a picture, which this is awful. It's just absolutely awful, of Meghan and Harry leaving the hospital with a monkey. I mean, do you know how offensive, how horrible that is? And this is all stuff that they have to deal with. Right? So you know what? Good for them. He's not going to be king anyway. I mean, he's sixth in line. And you know what? Let them live their life. And then for them, and them being financially independent, i.e. you go, people talking on both sides of their mouth. What do people always criticize about the monarchy? Oh, our taxes pay for, blah, 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 blah. Now, these people are saying that they're
going to go and be independent.
And yeah, of course, their fame comes over the fact that he's freaking a prince, Diana's son. So what? I mean, Kim Kardashian started her empire because of a sex tape.
Right.
Right.
We also
everybody has a beginning. You know what I mean?
We all use our skills.
Well, hell yeah.
Wouldn't you?
They're going to use their status to make money. That they're making money on themselves, not the taxpayers. It's like getting put that they just leave them alone and let them live their life. That's my
point. You know what? Just go to Canada, have poutine. They'll be fine. You know what it's time for?
Are we thirsty? Is this our first last soda of 2020?
It is our first last soda of 2020.
Are you giving it to the Heifer Corporation
Aw.
to start off the
I
year?
should, but I'm not. Do you want to go first, or do you
No,
want
I've
me to
talked
go
enough.
first?
You go first.
When have you ever said you've talked enough?
No. There's been times in my life that I've been like, "Coño, I talked a lot."
Okay. Well, I'm going to give my last soda
Citing. Kmart.
Ames,
Las Americas Central Plaza.
Mervin's.
El Galloping Lobster Restaurant. A Don Francisco. A Lily's Fashion, donde se...
Lula's Fashion.
No, there was Lily's Fashion.
Really?
Donde se
I remember
se
Lily's Records.
No, there was Lily's Fashion, donde se vestían las modelos de Sábado Gigante. And then there was Lula's Fashion that would have these commercials. They'll be like, Juego de blusa, $2.99. Oh my God, you know what was hilarious? In Schitt's Creek when he remodeled the blouse part and ended up going an ostrich in the middle of the blouse part. Anyway, digress. Go ahead.
So my last soda is going to go to a business. It's a small local business. That if I remember correctly, they are located. Actually, yes, they are located in California, and it's called Meathead Movers.
Okay.
Now, Meathead Movers started their business in 1997. They were high school athletes who were just trying to earn some extra cash. So basically, they would usually charge like $20 in a pizza, but they grew the business. They are a legit company now, but they're saying that as the business grew, they would occasionally get like these frantic phone calls from women with little or no money who wanted to quickly move out because they were in abusive situations and they were trying to find somebody who could just show up on a moment's notice and help them move out. So as a result of that, they now offer this as a service in Santa Barbara, Ventura, Orange, Los Angeles, and San Diego counties. Whenever they open up a new office, the first thing they do within the first week is that they go to the local women's shelters and make themselves known that they offer this service so that when women find themselves in these situations where they're trying to leave their abusers, they can reach out to the women's shelters. And then what they do is they coordinate between everybody. They also bring a police car to, just in case the person comes back early. And they coordinate everything to help these women move out, and they do it free of charge. Oh, wow. So I think that's definitely something where these people have had success. They have a great business, and they're really just giving back to a community. So I want to give my last soda to Meathead Movers, because it's something as simple as helping somebody move out of their house in that moment, which you don't think about. A lot of times it's like, no, just get out, just go. Yeah, but if you've got kids, you've got things, and so they are definitely giving back, and so I want to give them a shout out.
Well, there we go. Well, I'm thirsty too.
I know you're very thirsty.
So I was thinking of who to give my season premiere soda to.
Ooh, the opportunities are endless, really.
Yeah. And I'm glad that you picked a more philanthropic one. Okay. Because I'm picking a more frivolous one.
Okay.
I got to give our last soda to a show I binge watched during our break, and I can't get enough of, which is
Cuna de Lobo.
The Cuna de Lobo. Yes, Cuna de Lobo. Con la tuerta. Catalina Creed. Wow. To Schitt's Creek.
Oh, I love me some Schitt's Creek.
I got to tell you, Moira should have her own podcast. Can we make this happen?
We'll write Catherine O'Hara's people.
Okay, for those of you who haven't seen Schitt's Creek, so basically it's a rich family that they lose all their fortune and they end up in a town called Schitt's Creek. And it's a long story, but they had bought the town years earlier, right. So it's one of the few assets they were able to keep. So they end up living in a motel. But these characters are ridiculous, and it's with Eugene Levy and his son Dan Levy, and they're the ones who wrote and produced the show. They created it. It's freaking insane. But to me, they're all funny. All of them are funny. But to me, the character of Moira, played by
Catherine O'Hara,
is one of the greatest all-time TV characters, because she is just I can't explain her. So if you go to YouTube, there's a whole video about her vocabulary. About the words that she uses,
how she speaks her dialect.
Yes, and all. Not only the accent, but the words she uses.
Oh, the actual vocabulary.
Yeah, the actual vocabulary. And the show is just hilarious. Like, you will literally laugh out loud, like funny, and they're all hilarious. I mean, she's my favorite, but when the show started, Dave, he kind of got on my nerves, but now, like, he's up there with her. Like he's always like, oh my god,
he's so flustered.
Like, I want to open up my apothecary. Oh my gosh, like, it's always like something. Like, did anybody turn on the lights? Like, no, you're not supposed to drink the body milk. Doesn't anybody care? Doesn't anybody use facial moisturizer around here? Like, I love it. So for those of you who want to escape, what all the bullshit out there that's going on in politics, just binge watch Schitt's Creek. It is insanely hilarious. Like, I hadn't come across a show that flat out funny in a while.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely one of the funniest shows out there, and it's currently in its final season, I think now.
Yes,
but
Netflix has the first 5 seasons, and then Pop is airing the final season. But you said that Pop is airing it like week by week.
I mean, like normal,
right? Right. So you could binge watch the first 5 seasons.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of Schitt's Creek for you to enjoy.
There's a lot of shit to enjoy.
So so go watch it, guys. It's hilarious, and you will be speaking like Moira. I can't do her accent.
Nobody can.
She is a binational treasure. Canada,
not because she's bisexual,
no,
but because
Canadian American.
Yes,
Canadian American. We thought Alanis Morissette was a binational treasure. No, Catherine O'Hara.
She's the true definition, and she was there first.
Well, that was episode 94, our first episode of 2020.
Whoop whoop.
So that was fun.
Love it.
Everybody, thank you so much. Thank you for coming along the ride and
continuing
for 3 seasons now. As we said earlier, we have a lot of stuff coming up this year. I mean, we're really excited.
Like really excited.
It's kind of like when people go to talk shows and they're like, "Oh, I have
so many projects,
but what are they? Oh, I can't really talk about them yet."
Right.
Yeah, we're in that. Yeah, because we're kind of in the
in the preliminary.
We're in the talk. Kind of talking, discussing, negotiating part of it. But we're going to have a lot of fun. We already have lined up some fun guests.
Yeah, we got some cool shit coming.
There may be some travel involved again this year. So, fun times ahead.
Absolutely.
So, everybody, thank you so much. As always, we hope you listened, laughed, and learned. Remember to grab your pastelito, your croqueta, and your jupiña. And that was episode 94, our season premiere.
Woo!
2020, season 3. Thank you, everybody.
Bye, mi gente. Pero Let Me Tell You is co-hosted by Darian Borges and Ismaeliano, produced by Ismaeliano, and our theme, Pero Let Me Tell You Freestyle, is composed by Michael Angelo Lomlaplex, the official gay guy. And don't forget to subscribe and leave us a review on iTunes.